Okay guys, so the last step is actually charging the user, right? And also we need to input the right data or the cart total right here, right? So we don't want $9, we want the total from our cart. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So if I head over to my checkout.blade.php, right here we just need to echo out the cart total. So right here, cart total. And obviously, since this is in dollars, we need to multiply it by 100 to get the amount in cents, because Stripe is expecting that in cents. But there's something wrong. So let's go to our cart.php configuration. And right here, we discover that we have some default configurations for the package that we are using. We'll go ahead and set this to 0, and we'll set the decimal point to nothing, and also right here the 1000 separator should be nothing. And what this is going to do is actually leave our data unformatted so that we can be able to do whatever we want to do with it. Okay, so if I refresh right now, you discover that the data or the amounts are unformatted and we have the raw numbers. Okay, so this just gives us a little flexibility so that, for example, right here in our cart total, we can actually use number format PHP function, and remember that function takes a lot of parameters and we can format it however we want. And where we don't want to format, we're gonna use. So right here, discover that what we are echoing out in the form, we are echoing out the cart total and it's unformatted, it's not formatted. Then we multiply by 100 and we pass it to Stripe. So Stripe knows that we are paying this amount from our cart. Okay, so now that we've set that up, we've set the real price that we want Stripe to pay, we want Stripe to charge, and everything looks well. Let's go ahead and see how we would include or charge our card using PHP. So obviously, for us to charge that card, we need to pull in the Stripe PHP package. So just Google Stripe PHP, get to that page, then Composer require that package. So I'll run that in my terminal right there. Composer requires Stripe PHP. So now that that's installing, right into our documentation, we have charging your customer immediately. What do? We just get the Stripe, we set the API key, and this API key is our secret. Remember, right here in our API keys, we have our secret and we have our PK, right? So our PK is used by that JavaScript that we used, and then our secret is what we're gonna use with PHP right here. So first thing, we set the API key. Second thing, we get the token that we received from Stripe. Third thing, we just create a new charge, okay, using the client. Okay guys, so let's make this happen. So first thing is we need to set our API key, right? So we'll just say Stripe and we'll say set API key, and this is the method that they've given us right here, right? So we can actually just copy this line right here and paste it right there. So first we need to set our API key, and rather than doing this, let's just import Stripe. So we'll say use Stripe and would get Stripe right there. Okay, so first we import Stripe and we set the API key, and this is gonna be the test key right here. Okay, so you can actually just copy it from here and you paste it right there. Okay, so we're not going to be putting in some configuration file or in a .env file because we just want to see how this works, and we're going to take care of that later. Okay, so now that we've set our API key, the next step is to get the token from our request. So we'll just say token, that's Stripe sent back to us, is our request Stripe token, right? Because if you check out this, if we're die dumping, right? So let's go ahead and submit and see that data we have again. So we'd say memd@g.com, whatever email, 4242424242, and 12/23 and 123 pay, submitted to our server, and we have the Stripe token right there. So when we retrieve the token, we store it in a variable, and all we need to do is create a new charge. So we'll just say charge equals Stripe charge. So let's import the charge right there, the charge class. So we'll say Stripe and we'll just say import charge. So charge is going to be charge, and we'll just create a new charge and we just pass in an array. First thing we pass into this array, obviously, is just like defining at this documentation, the amounts. So we'll say amount is going to be, we'll get the cart total right there, and we'll multiply it by 100 so that we get the amount in cents. The next thing we're gonna do is we get the currency, which is gonna be US dollars. Next thing we're doing, passing in a description, which is optional, but let's just do that. So we'll say description, we'll just say Udemy course practice selling books right there. Okay, and the next thing, obviously, we need to pass in the source or the token that we received, and we've already saved it in a request token right here. Or we can also do it like this. Okay, so we can also do what I just did. So we just get it right here and we pass it to the source. Okay, so that is all we need to charge a user. Now we're just gonna dive down some message to say your card was charged successfully. Okay, so hopefully everything is gonna work perfectly and we'll see this message. So let's go ahead and try it out. So I'll refresh right here. I click pay with card. I input my email. I input the card, which is a test card, obviously provided by Stripe, and I input expiry date, whatever I want, and I input some data and I submit. It's submitted to our server and we still have the die dump there. So let's go ahead and put that out. Okay, so we pull that out. So first it's gonna set API key, create a charge, and die dump this data right here. So let's submit the form. And class app cards not found. Sorry about that, guys. Obviously I need to say use the cards facade. So let's refresh, resubmit the form, and it says your card was successfully charged. So it means the charge was automatically nicely created. So let's head over to my Stripe page and see if we have some money. So right there we have a lot of cash. Okay, $19,000 from our cards that we just charged right there. So we are successfully charging our user. So first thing, we input this form, we pass in our public key, we pass in the amount we're gonna charge the user, and Stripe is gonna take care of the rest. It's gonna send the credit card information and everything to Stripe, and Stripe is gonna send us a token, and we're gonna use that token to charge our card. And that token is like a representation of the card that we submitted, right? So next thing, we need to install the PHP library, set the API key, and we just create a charge right there. And that's all. That's just it. Just in a very few lines of code, we're able to set up Stripe. So in the next video, we're going to be doing some little stuff after the user finally pays us our cash. So thank you so much and see you in the next video.